Is it India or is it Bharat? This is a debate that sparked a few months ago with the government making a push seemingly for the word Bharat rather than India. And now what's re-triggered this debate is a proposal by a panel of the NCERT, which has suggested that instead of India, we refer to it as Bharat in school textbooks. And here on Democratic Newsroom, we're going to be talking about this, figuring out whether it's a good move, a good suggestion, should it be brought about or not. Gaurav, you're fresh back from the war, back to domestic politics for you. Tell us, what do you think? Do you think this is a good proposal?
I think Bharat is a great name, and I think Bharat is a great idea. When you take not just the name, but you also bring back that ancient glory of our country, where you have universities like Takshashila and Nalanda, where people from across the world came to study. So you bring your education to that level, you give them the best education, know about the glory of your country, and take it to newer heights, from history, culture to science and technology. I think it's a great idea.
So Gaurav thinks that this is a move that should be taken forward and should be implemented in school textbooks, yes?
It should be implemented across.
Preeti, what do you think?
Well, I think it's a tad bit unnecessary. What's the need? Because if it is a political move, because otherwise, why would it have happened at this time? You had 9 years before where if it was a government initiative at all. But having said that, what it leads to is next year, next to next year, 29 or 2029, if there's a change in government, are they going to again come back and rewrite our textbooks? Because, if we let politics permeate into education, that's a question mark. But I have one basic, comment in this, is that, you want to change the word India to Bharat, but it is India that is Bharat. So why not? Because if you want to inculcate Bharat, India/Bharat. Right? Because there are a lot of us who've grown up on the idea of India that is Bharat. Bharat that is India, not one replacing the other. Right? It's a confluence of both. Also, I would want to talk about two things, because this panel, the chairman of this panel is an RSS ideologue. It's a 7-member panel. 3 of them in the panel are associated with the ABVP. So I think those are questions that we need to look at. Also, what are the other recommendations raised by this panel is also very interesting, because they want Hindu defeats to be, in the historical context, Hindu defeats to be minimized. The glory of Hindu, not Indian. The glory of Hindu wins be underlined. And also there is a recommendation, which I think is very worrying, is to introduce what is called that's a recommendation, quote unquote, on how Pakistan studies is a chapter in Pakistan. There should be a chapter for Indian studies. Now, I don't understand what that means.
So are you suggesting that when they're talking about India being renamed as Bharat, it's more of a Hindu push or something of the sort? And do you think that India/Bharat is okay in school textbooks then?
My thing is, till now, did we even think it wasn't normal? Because for us, it's India that is Bharat. It's a confluence of both. One can replace the other can replace, the one. So, however, because you're making it as a move as such, I would think put both in India/Bharat if you really want to put Bharat, but why reprint? India is Bharat. Bharat is India.
Can I briefly come in on the point of Hindu victory or defeat? It depends on perspective. Who's writing history? And history is always written by the victor. 1857, all throughout we've read, it was a mutiny. 1857 was a Sepoy mutiny. 1857 was India's struggle for independence. So it depends who's writing history. If the Brits are writing a history, they'll look at 1857 as a mutiny. When Indians write that history, they write it as freedom struggle. So it depends who's writing that history. Again, was Alexander the Great, he conquered the world. He came to the banks of Jhelum, had a war with Porus, and returned. If he was victorious all along, came till here, if he was still victorious, why didn't he wade in deeper? Why did he go back?
On the point of Hindu victories, Gaurav, you're trying to suggest someone else wrote it till now? Someone else suggested that it's, not a victory per se, and that, it was tweaked to make it a certain way?
So you say Alexander the Great, right? But Alexander the Great, after his battle with Porus, went back. If he was so victorious, why didn't he wade deeper? Who wrote that history? So if you're looking at history afresh, you're looking at it from an Indian perspective.
But we also say Ashoka the Great. We also say Ashoka.
But
The
I'm
great
not talking
Ashoka
about
was great.
Yeah, I'm not talking
But
about
Ashoka was
It's
great
a
because
different
he
era.
gave up.
I'm sorry,
No.
it's a different
Ashoka,
era. You're
one
talking
sec.
about different battles.
Yeah, we're talking about different battles. But the fact is, if you're not going to look at where he went back, he could have gone in deeper. Ashoka could have gone in deeper. He gave up everything.
Okay. Okay, we'll come back. We'll come back to you. I'll just, bring it Sneha and Nabila. Yeah, go
So
ahead.
my point is that why now? The timing obviously is suspect, and the government obviously has a problem with the word India is evident after the India alliance came up. And like I agree with Preeti, there are other different points in these set of suggestions which are also worrying. For example, tone down Hindu defeats. That is again worrying. What is the need? Doesn't the NCERT have better things to do is my question. Can't they work in the direction of making our education system a little more inclusive, our textbooks a little more fun, for kids to enjoy, learn and understand? Should that not be the focus? Should learning not be made fun? Should that not really be the idea behind education, or just changing names? So what purpose does it really serve? And what is the idea behind it? And of course the timing of it. I mean, the timing of it is really interesting. In about 6 months from now, we're going to elections. This entire chatter around India versus Bharat has only started now. It's political rhetoric. It's nothing else.
Okay. Nabila, do you think so too, that it's nothing but political rhetoric? Some would say that, this is distortion of history being set right now.
So what I'd say is, why not? If history was distorted, why shouldn't it be set right? We could question the timing, but if leaving that aside, if this could be a political, political move, but nonetheless, it's a fact that ancient history, at least in our history books, has shown India having a dark past where Hindu kings have lost to the Mughals, etc. So why shouldn't it be rewritten if it's factual? Obviously, we're sticking with facts, and if we're going to be sticking to facts, then why shouldn't the kings, Hindu kings, and their glory be glorified in our textbooks, just like every other country would do for their own people in their own country, right? India is no different. And to change, but my only grouse here is to change the name of India to Bharat entirely in textbooks will come at a cost, because first of all, India is known as India in many internationally, right? Even with the UN, India is registered as India. So this is going to be a huge shift with nearly 14,000 crores. Ideally, someone did an analysis on this, that would be ideally spent in branding, marketing, etc. of the name India to change to Bharat entirely. So is this really the need of the hour when we're facing several other issues? I don't think so.
Let's take that.
I just want to say, because you said about, is it rewriting history? How are we rewriting history? India is a part of our constitution. How are we rewriting that? So, the reason we have India in our textbook is because it is India that is Bharat. So, if you're only putting in Bharat, fine, you're free to do it because it's this or that.
But what's the agenda? What's the agenda then?
I don't
bringing
get
in
it.
Bharat?
I don't understand the agenda. That's my problem. I question, as like I think all journalists should. One thing till now we must underline that these are recommendations. The NCERT is going to look at them. There are 20 such panels. They've come up with different recommendations, and this particular panel of 7 has unanimously come with this recommendation. I think just journalistic inquisition. You look at the panel. Who is this panel? The panel is headed by an RSS ideologue. It has 4 ABVP, other committee members. So yes, there is clearly a right bent of mind. Now, is that correct? Is something which the NCERT needs to look at further in terms of should it happen, should it not happen. But are we also going to get into this cycle of retribution? And why I say that is, I think both Nabila and you would, know with what went down in terms of the Karnataka textbooks just about 3 years ago under, the previous BJP government. And now all those textbooks which were published at that point of time are all going back and getting republished. Are we getting into this cycle of political retribution? No.
So is it political retribution and nothing more, Gaurav? What is the motive? And when Preeti says that, this panel has a right bent of mind, what is that got to do with India and Bharat? What's the motive behind renaming India to Bharat?
What were panels like before the BJP came to power? If they had a left bent of mind, the victor writes the history. There's an old saying, till the time lion writes the book, the hunter, would always be seen as the victor. So that's exactly what's happening right now. Whoever wins elections will run the country. That's the way democracies work. If there's a problem with what is happening, if it's not correct, you go to courts of law and you have that sorted out. That's point one. Point two, I see nothing wrong in India being called Bharat. I see nothing wrong in history being shown with an Indian perspective. The Battle of Haldi Ghati, for example, the battle against Mughals, the role of Maharana Pratap, the role of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. When you learn a little more, even if you look at history, there are so many aspects of history where you do need to know about a lot more Indian heroes who have not been written about. So if you know about more the merrier.
Okay, I'm going to
final-
leave because I have a recording.
All
So
right.
I'm going to leave, but yes, I do agree with the point that maybe, have panels which are non-political.
Final
So that
question.
every-
Final question to you, Preeti, and I'll take that to everyone. India or Bharat?
Both, it doesn't matter to me. It's India that is Bharat, Bharat that is India.
Okay, so that's Preeti's parting shot. Nabila, what do you think? India or Bharat?
There's no difference. For me, when you speak to people, India comes instinctively because that's what's there in our textbooks and that's what it is referred to globally. But when you speak of Bharat, I'm as patriotic about the word Bharat as I am
So you're
for the
welcome to
word
change.
India. Absolutely, I'm welcome to change, but it's just the cost of it and the political timing of it. But then again, when you really look at it objectively, there's no right time to do anything right? You'll always find a fault.
Gaurav, I'm guessing you're for Bharat.
I'm always for Bharat.
And you, Sneha?
Always.
I'm for Bharat/India. It's the same actually, so this change is unnecessary.
Okay, so you heard what everyone here in the Democratic Newsroom has to say. Like we said, this is a panel, part of the NCERT that's come out with this suggestion, with this recommendation. Will it go through? And what will be the repercussions of such a move? Here on India Today, we'll of course continue to get you all the updates on that.